لقد كان لكم في رسول الله أسوة حسنة لمن كان يرجو الله واليوم الآخر وذكر الله كثيرا.
All praise be to Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, and peace and blessings be upon our Prophet, the Prophet of humanity. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear respected viewers, it is my pleasure again to welcome you to this episode of your program with the Prophet. Inshallah, by the will of Allah, in a number of episodes, we'll be talking about some of the unique leadership skills or characteristics of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that made one of the most unique, or let's say knowledgeable historians of leadership in the world rank Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam at the top of the most influential persons in history. In his book, The 100, a ranking of the most influential persons in history. And that is the American historian of leadership, Michael Hart. I'll just start by reading a statement from the introduction that Michael Hart gave to his book when he talked about those personalities. He said, "My choice of Muhammad," and we say sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "to lead the list of the world's most influential persons may surprise some readers and be questioned by some others, but he was the only man in history." The only man in history. Unfortunately, he doesn't recognize Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a messenger, and he's saying man. He was looking to him as a great leader. The only man in history who was supremely successful on on both the religious and the secular levels. This describes what Islam is, a complete religion. قُلْ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. This religion is for all aspects of life. The word religion itself even doesn't describe Islam, because it's a way of life. It guides your relationship with Allah, guides your relationship with others, in economics, in politics, in agriculture, in treating your family members, in teaching, in ruling, in all aspects of life. The life is a Muslim based on submission. You submit yourself to Allah willingly and peacefully. And that submission means you get guidance in all aspects of life from your Lord through the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who Allah gave us a human as the unique human example, infallible human example for us to follow. I'll look in these, inshallah, number of episodes, starting from this one, at some of these unique features of leadership that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam showed. Before we go into that, we need to look at the environment in which the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was raised, how he came to this world. We know he lived his life as an orphan. He didn't know his father. He was born after his father died. Then he lost his mother. His grandfather was taking care of him. Then his uncle later on, after his father Abdul Muttalib passed away, Abu Talib started taking care of him. He never went into academy or school. Even he didn't know how to read or write. When Angel Gabriel came to him and said, read, he said, "Ma ana biqari." I'm not a reader. This we might look at as a very strong evidence that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ didn't learn from other religions or didn't look at other books, but he got revelation to him from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah selected him from among the hundreds of millions, probably millions, probably billions of millions of people who would be living on earth. As Allah said, Allahu ya'lamu haythu yaj'alu risalata. Allah knows where He would reveal His message. And this is why Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was selected by Allah. He never, as I mentioned, went to any academy of leadership or a big university, but he astonished Michael Hart. Therefore, he selected him among all to be the top of all those 100 most influential persons that he spoke about, and indicated some of his characters that I'll be talking about as well in this episode. I'm not referring to Michael Hart, I'm referring to the seerah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Among these very strong characteristics, his strong belief on the message that he was bringing to the world, regardless of all the difficulties that he went through, all the hurdles, regardless of the rejection from the closest people to him who knew him for a long period of time to be the trustworthy. He never lied. He was very honest, that they called him Al-Amin, Al-Sadiq Al-Amin. So this character of steadfastness in believing on the truth that Allah revealed to him, and his very much concern regarding revealing that truth to others, with strong faith that his message will prevail and will continue forever as promised by his Lord, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Among these incidents is when the people of Quraysh, the elders of Quraysh, went to Abu Talib and said, let's see what you're going to do to your son, to your nephew. He is ridiculing our idols. He is bringing a new message that we are not really informed about. He is creating disunity among the community, disunity among the same family. Children will accept the message, wives will accept the message, and the rest of the family will not accept the message. He separated brothers. See what you can do to him. The Prophet ﷺ was invited by his uncle and he said, Muhammad, what are you doing? The Qurayshis came to me. Is there any way that you could stop this? The Prophet ﷺ became very angry. His uncle was protecting him against the Quraysh. He said, my uncle, you may, even if you don't protect me, Allah will protect me. Allah selected me and promised me that this message will prevail. And he said his very strong words, by Allah, if they put the sun on my right hand and the moon in my left hand, therefore I stop continuing, I discontinue going into this matter, I will not stop until Allah raise it and make it prevail over all ways of life, or I die for it. But he was having his firm belief that Allah will elevate him, will elevate his followers, will elevate his message to dominate the whole world. This is one feature of the Prophet ﷺ, of the leadership features of the Prophet ﷺ, his steadfastness. Though the whole community was rejecting him, to the extent that they were trying to convince his uncle, who believed that he was saying the truth, although he didn't believe in him because of the bad company that he was having, because of his own lineage, as we say. This is one of the greatest hurdles on the way of people. وجدنا آباءنا على أمة وإنا على آثارهم مقتدون. We found our ancestors following a certain path, and we'll just follow them, even if they are blindfolded, whether they're following the truth or not. And this is one of the features of jahiliyyah, of ignorance. Open-minded people don't believe in that way. Even if my father is doing wrong, I shouldn't do wrong. Why? If I know the truth from falsehood, why should I follow the falsehood and leave the truth? In another position, this will be the last with you, is when the Prophet ﷺ had to leave Mecca after the Qurayshis plotted to assassinate him and selected 12 armed knights to stay at his door. When he'll come out of his house, all of them will hit him with one sword, so his blood will be shed among the different tribes of Quraysh, and Bani Hashim wouldn't be able to seek revenge from all the Qurayshis. Allah saved him. He was able to leave his house at that night, and he took the dust and put it on their heads, as Allah said in the Quran, وَجَعَلْنَا مِن بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ سَدًّا وَمِن خَلْفِهِمْ سَدًّا فَأَغْشَيْنَاهُمْ فَهُمْ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ. We made two walls between front of them, and that they couldn't see the Prophet ﷺ when he left, and he took his companion Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, may Allah be pleased with him, further to start migrating to Medina. And the way of Medina, as you know, the Prophet ﷺ, because he knew that the Qurayshis will follow his tracks and follow him and try to put prizes and great rewards for people who would catch him dead or alive. They knew if he went to another land, he would have other supporters, and he will come back to Mecca as a liberator one day. So they follow his footsteps to a mountain of Thawr in the southern part of Mecca, where he hid in a cave, Ghar Thawr, the cave of Thawr. And they were looking at the place. Now this is a place that cannot accommodate anybody. There are many stories about the cave, but Abu Bakr as-Siddiq said, "Oh Allah, O Prophet of Allah, if any one of them would look at his feet, he would see us." He said, "Don't worry, Abu Bakr. لا تحزن. إن الله معنا. ما ظنك باثنين الله ثالثهما." Don't fear. Don't be sad. Allah is with us. A liar in this moment will not say that, but he was having steadfastness, strong belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, strong belief in the message that he was carrying. And this is one of the most important features, leadership features of the Prophet ﷺ, that we'll close this episode with. And inshallah, in other episodes, we'll continue talking about other leadership characteristics and features of the Prophet ﷺ that Allah made him unique with, to be the most influential and continue to be the most influential person or leader in his until the day of judgment. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
لقد كان لكم في رسول الله أسوة حسنة لمن كان يرجو الله واليوم الآخر وذكر الله كثيرا.